Bishop, good evening. Thank you for your time. What is your reaction to the address by the President tonight?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. We are absolutely delighted. I think all faith communities are delighted. We have really, almost like we've been yearning for the opportunity to worship together one more time. It's been very difficult, especially for rural and poor communities that cannot be in an electronic environment. And even those in the towns who could do that, they have limited capacity because of limited data, and we just, it's just one of those things. And yet, I must say, I know people that would love for the electronic services to still continue, because it is something that I had never thought anyone was doing. Shopping around, looking like surfing for, hey, which sermon is better for today? That's what some people have been doing. But more seriously, the opening up of the possibility to worship together, even with the limited numbers of 50, brings back that repository of togetherness in worship, that filling the space in the presence of God that faithful people want to have. And so we have had to do some work, some homework, to think about how this can work in an environment where you've got large numbers for a congregation, that will then have to sort of do, if you like, a platoon system, where if it's a Sunday, you do 3 services or so, or you do a number of weekdays and Saturday. And that way, it means that people either have to sign up ahead of time, or you can do it by alphabet and say the numbers from A, the families from A to J, on Saturday. And because the M's are always so many, like Boom, Luana, then of course those would have to go like half or third of them at a time. But it does mean that there's some kind of rhythm you can build, an expectation of who is going to be coming for the day. And I think that it has given us a lot of relief also for weddings. And I cannot forget the cry of the chief rabbi always saying, what about weddings? Young people want to get married. Now we can be able to do that. And I think we will keep the same protocols and practices that we have for funerals and stay close to the way it ought to be for all of us.
I think it's going to make the wedding guests, the lists for wedding guests, a lot easier when you've got to uninvite the aunt that you don't want there. You can use this as an excuse. Bishop,
the worst thing about that is that, as a wedding marriage officer, I'm supposed to say, anyone here who objects to them, clearly nobody's going to be likely to object.
They can't come to the wedding, so you're safe. You can get married. Bishop, before I say goodbye to you this evening, I'd like your reaction and your thoughts on how the church has changed now. I was watching something last week from a well-known American pastor, Tim Keller, and he was saying that as a result of lockdown, so many more people have come into faith because it's been so much more accessible due to technology. Do you think there could be a growth in religious followings in South Africa?
I wouldn't have thought of it in terms of the electronics, but I would have thought of it in terms of the house environment. I think that one of the things that, especially with the 50 that's now only required, that there will be more people gathering in the neighborhood homes to worship together. We already have a cell system in many churches, and so there will probably be a measure of that happening with more people, so that a lot of people can't go to church actually because there's no money, because they have to get the taxi to go to the church, near to the church they're supposed to go to. So now we've encouraged people to come together where they are in their neighborhood. The key and most important thing is that as we commit ourselves more to the faithful exercise of spirituality, we should also be able to make sure that we don't hurry to fulfill that by dying just yet. And so we have to make sure that we have a measured balance between the spirituality and the health, so that these two can go together as we prepare ourselves for the next life. I want to say, if I may, at this point, that when all the religious organizations were appealing to government for this, all of them were doing so from the mandates of their organization, but none of them were doing it for themselves. because all of us benefit from the appeal that's made by the Muslims, that's made by, the Reverend Meshua's church, whatever church. So all of us actually, in the end, stand to benefit. And I think that all the differences we have ought to be put aside in the celebration of the opportunity to worship in the way that we best enjoy.
I think many, many people would agree with you, Bishop. It's always a pleasure having you here on ENCA. Good evening to you, and thank you for your time. From the South African Council of Churches, Bishop Malusi Mpumwana.